Are you ready?
Ready.
All right, let's go. Kevin here, Top 1 Financial Advisor and best-selling author. We are here to talk about the stock market. Today, I'm going to give you 5 tech stocks I think you should add to your watch list. And that's because most people haven't been paying attention to tech. It was beat up last year. I mean, one of the worst places you can invest in 2022. But it's not 2022 no more. And we are ending the first quarter of 2023. And tech is looking quite attractive. Now, there is a good reason why it's looking attractive and a bad reason why it's looking attractive. Let's start off with the negative. It's looking attractive, some of these companies particularly, because they're cutting costs. They're cutting costs by cutting people. Okay, that's not necessarily great. From a business perspective, if you're saving money by cutting a lot of costs and still making the same amount of money, you're going to become more profitable. As you become more profitable, people are more likely to invest in your business, right? So that's one very obvious reason as to why a lot of tech stocks are doing well, but also the reemergence and the boom in the AI industry, artificial intelligence. So companies like NVIDIA, which we have talked about before, while this is not necessarily related, you saw Tesla take off very early this year, and if you start to look around, you start to say, hey, look, a lot of companies in this tech space are up 10, 15, 20% just this quarter. So in the last 3 months. I'm going to give you 5 today, but I'm going to tell you this, okay? The title of this video is 5 tech stocks to watch in 2023, okay? 5 tech stocks to watch. There's a word that is missing in the title of this video, and that is the top 5 or the top 10. The top stocks will be added in our members only tomorrow. I'm going to give you all 10. If you're in the members only, I'm going to give you my top 10. Now, all these stocks are good, but they ain't cracked the top 10. And once you start to hear the numbers that you're going to hear, you're going to be really excited because these are still very good, but they didn't even make my top 10. All right, so members only, button's right here. It's in the description. You absolutely want to join it because we're going to go over the top 10. But I'm just giving you 5 that didn't make the list, but they were honorable mentions. All right, so I got my list here in front of me. I'm going to start off with CRM. That is Salesforce. We talked a little bit about Salesforce earlier this year, but it's up 48% in the last 3 months. 48%. That is incredible. That is rare. You don't, I mean, Salesforce really since about I feel like between 2018 and now hadn't been all that great. But last 3 months up 48%. It's one that you want to at least take a look at. I'm also going to go over some of the negatives for some of these as well. Speaking of negative, let's talk about Meta, aka Facebook. They're up 72% in the last 3 months. Now, they also announced another major wave of layoffs, which I'm not a big fan of. Now, the other thing about this, especially with Meta, is remember how these percentages work. So just because you lost 60% last year and you gained 70% this year so far, it doesn't mean that you broke even. In fact, even with the 72% gain, it is up 48% in 6 months. That is still good. And if I go from this year to last year in March, it's only up about 2.5%, almost 3%. So over the year, not the biggest gain, but if I'm looking at a smaller sample size, Facebook/Meta is doing incredibly well. Now, my personal thoughts about Facebook, I still think Mark Zuckerberg needs to step down. I think they need a new voice as CEO. They still have a lot of the same problems that they've had before around advertising, around regulation. And I don't know if they have any direction. Like, what is Meta and Facebook trying to do, and Instagram and WhatsApp? What are they trying to do other than like get TikTok banned? That's really it. So that's why they didn't make my top list, even though their gains are incredible, right? Next one's AMD. AMD is a chip maker, semiconductor manufacturer, and they're up 51% in the last 3 months. Very tough competitor, or usually mentioned in the space, in the competitive space, with companies like Intel, which is also up about 15% or so. Obviously, it did not make the list. And NVIDIA, as I mentioned earlier, which may or may not be on my top 10 list, but NVIDIA, they're usually in that space with NVIDIA. So AMD is definitely up there. Then you've got GE. This one is relatively surprising. I've been keeping my eye on this company. They're technically more in the manufacturing side, if you ask me, than tech. Depends on who you ask, but they're up 43% in the last 3 months. Obviously, all of these are incredibly good for almost any year and in any 3 month span. That's definitely one you want to keep your eye on. That is probably the most interesting and quote unquote diversified because they do so many different things. Does GE compared to some of these other companies that are strictly tech and nothing else? So you want to keep an eye on that one because of this diversification factor in my view. Last one here is On Semiconductor. Their ticker symbol is ON. They are up 26% in the last 6 months, and this is a company that we have covered on this channel before. If I'm not mistaken, we did an entire breakdown video inside our members only about On by itself. And in fact, if I remember correctly, it's all come back to me now. I think one of y'all had mentioned it in the comments months ago, and then we ended up doing an entire breakdown on it. So these are 5 you just want to add to your list. Okay, just scribble it down, save it on your watch list, do your research, decide what you want to do. And tomorrow, for our members, I'm going to give you my full list of 10. There ain't none of these on here. None of them on here. And all these are good, but they did not crack the top 10. So you want to make sure that you're on our members only or inside of our members only so you can get that content, because we are dropping 2 videos this week. This one will be the first one. All right. So again, quick rundown. You've got CRM, Salesforce. So CRM is the stock symbol there. You have Salesforce, Meta, AMD, GE, and On Semiconductor. 5 stocks that I think you should add to your watch list because you want to invest where the money resides. And right now, tech is becoming one of those emerging factors, one of those emerging industries. Because I've always said this, right? You want to, if the market is moving one way, you kind of want to hop on that train. What you don't want to do is fight and try and go up against the grain and lose. Like going into banking right now, unless you get lucky and hit one of these companies like First Citizens yesterday, it's going to be a tough ride. It's going to be extremely difficult. So ride the wave. If tech is doing well, and if it continues to do well, which we'll see if that's going to be the case, you might want to slide a little bit more into tech. It's one reason why I didn't sell out of all my tech stocks last year, because you're going to have some of those perennial names that are up there, Google's, Amazon, so on and so forth, that you hold on to them for times like that. So that is it for us today. If you want me to cover a different industry, let me know in the comments. You want me to talk about energy, you want me to talk about manufacturing, defensive stocks, whatever it is, let me know, because we do a lot of that throughout the year. But again, tomorrow I'll be dropping my top 10. All right, that is it for me today. I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Bye.